CalazCon is a show about war, obsession, colonialist occupation, and the many forms of violence those inflict. See the description for content warnings specific to this episode.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the legislative session of CalazCon for Cycle 3. I am your host, Austin Ramsey. You can find my work at austin-ramsey.itch.io, and you can support CalazCon at patreon.com/CalazCon. Today I will be playing Speaker of the House Fabrizio Catana, and one other secret role. I am joined today by Snuggs.
Hi, I'm Snuggs. I'm not really an internet presence, but I'm here on Discord, and it's good to be with you. I play Zendre Mavis, the legislator for the 86 Dismounted Squad.
Thank you. I'm also joined by Brendan.
Hey, my name is Brendan McLeod. You can find my work at sulcata.itch.io. You can find me at _sulcata on Twitter or at sulcata on co-host. You can also listen to the other show that I'm on at oathswornpodcast.com. I'm playing Red Philodendron, representative for Zero Accountability.
Thank you. Also joined by Gavin.
Hi, I'm Gavin Frigeau. You can find me and everything that I do at mixedsuccess.com. I'm a freelance editor, TTRPGs, novels, articles, anything. You can find my stuff there. And I'll be playing Kagan Fishel, aka Fishy, legislator for Terminal Company.
Thank you. Also, we're joined by Anna.
Hi, my name's Anna. I'm going to be playing Dr. Clepsydra Kane for the Farm Upstate. You can find my game Capes in the Dark at seasidesepulchre.itch.io.
Thank you. And last but not least, joined by PB.
Hey folks, I'm PB. You can find the games that I write at poly3d.itch.io. You can listen to my other podcast, Cahooligans, where we talk about Guardians of Cahool books. Very different genre than here. And I will be playing Gishlak Nil today, representative for the Blue Sky Endowment.
Wonderful. Thank you all very much. So, as I said, it's Cycle 3. The squads have all completed their missions. Some of them have completed more missions than others in Cycle 3. And because of their hard-won efforts, they actually managed to complete their faction goal clock of Secure the Borders in a single cycle. So that's going to be one thing we're going to be voting on today. But before we get to the voting, we have the rest of the process to go through. First off is, did anyone's drives get fulfilled by the actions of squads during the prior set of missions? Zendre, what are your drives?
My drive is to help old soldiers retire, and I'm not really sure if I achieved that at all or that ever really got moved towards.
Yeah, to my knowledge, everyone's been pretty competent, so no one's looking like they should get removed in spite of their successes, I think. Although, considering I know that the 86 and Terminal Company both ran into some trouble with their elder members of their squads. So I think you probably do get at least one tick between the two of them.
There's a version of the events of the Forum of State session where I could see them being framed as incompetent. I'm not exactly sure how we're framing that narratively as a group, so I don't know if that entirely applies.
Yeah, I don't think it does. So I think Zendre is just getting one more tick.
Okay.
Red, what's your drive?
My drive is to take control of Hestial through chaos and war. I get at least one tick, I would say, from Pizza's actions as they attacked and successfully routed a sewer base of Tempestuous.
That is true. I think you also get another tick for Terminal Company's pair of missions.
Spectacular.
We did some serious damage, and we took some serious damage, so...
All right. Fishy, what's your drive?
Cut our losses and get out of here.
How's that going?
Well, we completed the faction goal, so that should give me a drive tick.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
And what's the opposite of decimated? What's like not 90% instead of 10%?
Obliterated?
Yeah, obliterated.
Yeah. We obliterated the 501st, so... which has been a huge thorn in our side for we pushed the siege line.
Oh yeah, you made that space, giving you the opportunity to actually cut bait and
losses. Run. Yeah, so...
Yeah, take another drive tick for that.
I don't remember what we argued the mechanical result with that would be, but basically the siege line is further away from the con. And it's generally safer around the con.
Yeah, so the benefit of that, thanks to that long-term project from Terminal Company, is that the special rule for the siege line is changed from if you're flying in the area, you get shot down, to now it's if you're flying in the area and not broadcasting DFS ID tags, you get shot down. So... it's fixed somewhat for DFS personnel, but also opens up some interesting narrative possibilities with things like CalazCon or Jovangellian flights broadcasting DFS tags, or DFS units getting shot down because they were trying to be sneaky and weren't broadcasting anything. And Dr. Kane, what about your drive?
My drive is to win the hearts of the people of Hestial to the side of the DFS. I am not certain all of the other missions everyone got up to. I don't know if that got ticked. My understanding is that everything's been escalating pretty hard, and not a lot of hearts or minds have been wooed recently.
Yeah, that doesn't sound probable. PB, what did Blue Sky get up to? Was there anything that you think might have furthered that goal of Dr. Kane's?
Let's see. Blue Sky did let a junker live, and I think even end up in a semi-romantic thing. I don't know the exact details here.
Oh, that's exciting. Good for them.
Does that sound right, Austin?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Unfortunately, from what I recall, the date went very poorly. However, the important note here is that the Junkers are CalazCon and not the people of Hestial.
Oh, yep.
Yes.
Rats.
Yeah, unfortunately, when everyone's focusing on securing the borders, it doesn't exactly sway the local populace.
Not to worry.
Speaking of Blue Sky, Gishlak, what's your drive?
All right, so we talked after last session because I realized I wasn't ever going to get ticks towards my previous drive, which was about like influencing the overall narratives of CalazCon, I realized, oh, my drive can be something much more similar, much more grounded, not more similar, which is become an executive producer on a Calazar series.
Ooh.
How's that going for you?
I will say that the 86 took out a personal rival in the fandom. After the shenanigans at the end of the last legislative session sent them to go deal with Spencer Holiday, who was
to be clear, Spencer was not killed, but his reputation was damaged, yeah.
Yes. So I don't know if that would count towards a tick, but...
I think it does.
Alright, my first drive clock tick of the game.
I'm not exactly going to be close-fisted with drive ticks for the legislature.
Alright.
This is how you become an executive producer in the real world, is my understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Alright. Are there any other notes anyone wants to hit before Fabrizio calls the parliamentary session to order?
I would like everyone to know that the gun that was pointed at us by Blue Sky Endowment, as a gift.
May I just interrupt there briefly? Do you want to save that and bring it up in a horse trading scene or a speech?
I don't plan on horse trading or speeching with Blue Sky. I think this is a cool thing that everyone would want to know about.
Okay, I just wanted to double check. Go right ahead.
Yeah, so that gun is now alive.
Yes.
We put a sentient AI core in it, and it is a person.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Don't ask me. I didn't do it.
You know what?
This is that comic where the scientists are like, I made a robot that screams.
My understanding is the reason is so that we could kill the 501st better.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to argue with that.
I think Adrian is probably happy with that, if no one else from Blue Sky.
Yeah, so the full series of events that happened, although I haven't heard the recording, I did read Elspeth's mission report, was that the Blue Sky Endowment delivered a siege cannon, a very extremely large gun on tank treads, to Terminal Company as a gift. And when they went to go activate it, because they were under attack from a scramble from the 501st, they wanted it to help them. They were going to fire it up to help them out. And they turned it on. It turned out there was about 10 seconds left before it exploded, because Blue Sky had never fixed that before handing it over. And or may have set that up on purpose.
Oopsies.
So I think that's why they put their newfound baby AI into the siege.
It's a baby?
Yeah, it's like pretty freshly alive, from what I recall. Put it into the siege cannon to help prevent the siege cannon from killing them all.
Boy, with friends like these.
Oh yeah, also that cannon was called the Finite Recurrence.
Well, now it's called Sir.
Oh, yeah. Yes, you're right. Now it's called Sir.
And I'm very interested to see how that shakes out, because one of Terminal Company's players' drives is to ensure that no more AI weapons get created like their own, because they're the wielder, and so their weapon is an AI weapon.
Mm-hmm.
And their squad just created one.
I asked this in sort of the backstage between recordings, but I feel like it's worth repeating on a recording. Has there ever been a normal game of Beam Saber? I'm just gonna let that hang. No one has to.
This is normal. This is what normal is.
I thought.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Any other notes before Fabrizio bangs their gavel? That sounds like a no. Okay. So, Fabrizio bangs the gavel 3 times and says, "This session of the Hestial Legislature is now called to order. Everyone, please be seated." How's everybody looking? Let's start with Gishlak. What's the sort of on your mind in in your spirit as you take your seat?
Last legislative session, they were frazzled, but they are back to their normal, put-together self. They've got, like, just enough makeup like you would wear if you're going to go, call into some news panel. They're wearing their nice, signature, like, gray-blue robes. Their hair is a little bit more in order, about as untamed as they normally like to keep it. Like, intentionally messy. You know what I mean. Yeah, I think there's a bit of a spring in their step. They are feeling pretty good. They're here to do some legislating. They are here to do some politics for the good of the DFS and for the people of Hestial.
Great. Dr. Kane, how are you looking? How you feeling?
Dr. Kane looks bored, fundamentally. I think that there's a part of her that is, like, struggling to get excited about coming to work, which I feel like is not an entirely unrelatable experience, but I think for her, being a legislature, there's a kind of amount of, like, you don't have a choice about whether or not you're excited about going to work. You go to work. And so she's here, sitting in one of the front rows, idly, like, swiping at different sort of UI elements on her holo display. The camera sees, like, portraits of the members of her squad before they're whisked away to the damages on the farm upstate base. That kind of thing. Not super interested in anything right now.
Fishy, how are you looking? How you feeling?
Fishy hasn't slept in 4 days and is definitely showing it. Bags under the eyes, office is a mess. The assistant Corporal Louis Balalaika isn't doing any better. Lots of paperwork to go through, lots of strings trying to pull. My squad had to do 2 missions last cycle, and both of them were brutal, so Fishy is feeling it right now.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, one of your pilots went into the second mission with a level 3 harm.
Yes.
Red, how you looking? How you doing? How you feeling?
This is perhaps the most put together that Red Philodendron has ever looked in front of the committee. Clean clothes, hair all in place, beard combed, has a manila folder and a small styrofoam cup of coffee. I think is deliberately sitting next to Dr. Kane.
Oh my gosh.
Unlike usual. And is just bright and alert, is not messing around, it is not fooling around either.
Has he said anything to Dr. Kane yet, or just taken a seat right next to her? Just as a reminder, the building you're in for the legislature normally seats about 2,000 people in sort of a circular arrangement. So choosing to sit right next to Dr. Kane is a choice.
We get the shot of, Red sits down and Dr. Kane is, sits up a little bit straighter and then, over the next, 30 seconds to a minute is, scooching her chair to the right inch by inch.
I think Red whispers, in the only gesture towards his usual personality, Red loudly whispers to Dr. Kane, "Can I copy your homework?" And then winks.
Shakes her head.
And how's Zendre doing and looking?
I think he looks pretty composed, not too flustered. However, looking at his vanilla envelope, he's squinting his eyes and kind of double reading over a report and kind of mouthing to himself what the... And then he slaps it shut, looks around, readjusts his posture, interpolls his fingers, looks about at everyone, adjusts his tie, chin up.
Okay.
Puts his game face on.
I meant to ask earlier when Fishy brought it up, does anyone else have their aides or interns with them in the parliamentary hall? There's certainly enough room for them if you wanted to have a gaggle of interns around you holding your paperwork.
Red, as usual, is alone.
I think Nil does have their usual 1 or 2 aides. I think they are noticeably different people than we saw the last couple times. There have been a few changes in their staff.
Rotating out?
Just letting different people get experience on the floor.
I see.
Dr. Kane is alone. Her aides, I think, are mostly absent proxies, and as such, most of the time don't physically manifest.
Mm-hmm. Zendre?
Trust issues because, backstory. He's kind of going it alone. Going it alone.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I have one quick question, Austin. Are we still suffering those same supply issues from last time?
Oh, yes. If you mean the one where every single squad gets a -1 die to their supply rolls, yep. No one has bothered to investigate that.
I made a whole speech about it last time.
We made it the whole squad goal, and then that just didn't happen.
No, everyone, investigated and pursued other means of securing the borders of the DFS territory. I suppose, in a sense, it could be understood that there is some more supply getting through, but it has taken the form of squads now getting access to nano-laminate armor, which is the benefit of Secure the Borders, which gives every vehicle access to one use of one load armor. Because it's just a special coating that goes on the exterior of the mech rather than, armor plating. So, yeah. No one's, Edrian is safe for now. Be very funny if they get through this whole thing and no one has caught them, because no one bothered to look.
Sometimes they're just bigger fish.
Yeah. Alright, so with all of those details out of the way, Fabrizio has already called the session to order, so everyone gets their 2 parliamentary actions. I already discussed this a bit with Brendan beforehand. Brendan, do you want to take the floor?
Yeah, Red immediately stands up and steps forward to make a speech.
The House recognizes Representative Philodendron.
Austin, what do you think the, video display situation is in this room?
There's probably 3 big projector screens. One, sort of immediately behind the stage. I almost called it a dais. The stage at the front and center.
Okay, but they're embedded in the walls.
No, I think that they're set up and taken down because remember, this was a university campus.
Okay.
So there'll be times where they don't need these projector screens. But yeah, maybe they're embedded into the ceilings or into the actually the probably I was gonna say maybe into the balconies, but that would probably just obscure the view of the people below the balconies. So yeah, they're probably just freestanding arrangements that have been set up.
Okay. Well, I think as Red takes the podium, opening up his folder, he takes a remote and turns on the projector screens, which are on but are just showing no signal at this point. Looks out at the members of the legislation, meets the eyes of everyone there. Fellow legislators, last time I spoke to this body, I crudely interrupted the proceedings to insist on the importance of information, a precious resource and one easily counterfeited, a radiant light that, if true, can serve as our North Star. I spoke to you about the threat of the Jovangellians, of how their empire posed the greatest, most immediate threat to us and our goals in Logal, of how the frivolous activities of the CalazCon attendees could be safely ignored. I stand before you today because I have new information. Information that proves me wrong, and that suggests we're all in far greater danger than I had ever imagined. DFS forces recently infiltrated a supply depot, one of several belonging to a CalazCon-aligned outfit called Jacob's Junkers, and discovered an in-progress arm cannon. An arm cannon not merely for an Avi, but for something of incredible size and strength. Something massive. This, combined with reports of CalazCon-aligned squads throughout the city working in tandem on an enormous project, and with the scheduled party week about to occur, lead me to believe that the threat posed by CalazCon is far greater than anything the Empire is currently throwing at us. Legislators, no one builds an arm without a body to go with it. CalazCon is building a superweapon, a massive Avi, And if it comes online, it will take the whole of the DFS to stop it. We must redirect our forces to seek out the parts of this weapon and incapacitate or sabotage them immediately. If we do not, I have every reason to believe that CalazCon will end with Hestiol being completely destroyed by the convention itself. I understand this is a big claim, most especially from someone like me. I'm not a legislator. I'm a soldier. I'm gruff and terse and cruel. And I have every expectation that members of this committee expect that I am spinning tales to get what I want, which is why I've arranged for impartial testimony to substantiate my claims. Testimony from someone who, I can assure you, does not have my best interests at heart. And he hits a button, and the room goes dark, and the video on the screen begins to play.
Legislators of the DFS Zendre Incursion Force, you have my sincere thanks for listening to my words today. Forgive me for not addressing you in person, but given the circumstances, that seemed ill-advised. We have been at war for 3 years. My name is Tempestia. You may know me as Great Aunt to Her Highness Cascade, the 4th Warden of the People, Empress of the Stars, Duchess on the Emerald Chair. You may know me as a hated enemy. You may know me as a Jovangellian war hero. But I come to you today as nothing more than a protector of the people. The poisonous fools of CalazCon plan to destroy Hestiol. Commander Philodendron and I have separately discovered evidence of this. Such a scale is the weapon they build to level this city that it is impossible to hide completely. Red can provide hard facts and figures. I am here for testimony and a plea. Help me save Hestiol. I have gone to Regent General Bellarmine and with the same facts and figures, and to demonstrate the weight of their wisdom, they have ignored them. I know CalazCon and DFS forces have enjoyed an uneasy truce. Your soldiers engage in their frivolous entertainments. I'm sure there are those among you who would happily ally with CalazCon against Jovengel. But CalazCon plans to level the city in grand celebration. However much you enjoy their hospitality now, I'm sure you know, as legislators of the Democratic Federated Systems, that the dead cannot vote. Help me save Hestiol. I cannot offer a faction-wide truce or ceasefire, but my squad will endeavor to save this city regardless of your decision. If we succeed, and if I live, I can exit this theater with the strength to combat Bellarmine's plans. I hope you prefer a living Hestiol and a more honorable Jovengel. The choice is yours.
Red says simply, if the two of us agree on this, then I hope that's evidence enough that we believe it. We must put a stop to this plan, one way or the other. Thank you. And takes a seat.
Zendre, what's your reaction to this speech from Red and the video that he played?
Zendre, is watching the video very intently, listening to every word, and then just sort of leans back in his chair with his, signature pen kind of held up, pushed up against his lower lip. Doesn't say anything, but the expression on his face reads pretty clear that, well, that was a load to take in. It does, leave a question, but he doesn't give voice to it just yet.
Fishy, what's your response to the speech and video?
I think Fishy's annoyed or angry, and just like a slow burn, not gonna say anything in the talking to my water cup, etc.
Dr. Kane, how are you feeling about this?
I think she's playing it pretty close to the chest. So the camera sees, she's not looking at the screen. She's has a stylus in her hand that she's like flipping around, like like people doing pen tricks like that. Super not even paying attention. But I do have a belief, right? That's how speeches go.
Yes, everyone gets a new belief, an additional connection clock with red.
Do you want me to read off mine right now? Because I think that might be useful in coloring this.
Yeah,
response
if you've
as well.
already got it, go for it.
Maybe, just maybe, there's a future where Red and I can work together. If anything was going to make it happen, it'd be this.
Red sits back down next to Dr. Kane.
Kieklak, what's your response to this speech and video?
Representative No looks somewhat skeptical. Like, would Red really bury the hatchet this easily? Could this really have been happening under our noses this whole time? I don't know. There's several conflicting things that they're processing information right now. And I'll say that the belief that I wrote down is, without his lust for vengeance, what would drive Red?
Fishy, do you have a new belief written down for red?
Yeah. So my previous belief was, what's this guy even doing here? And now my belief is, what's with this guy's obsession with Tempestia?
And Zendre, do you have a new belief with red? If you need some time to think about it, that's okay.
No, I think I got one. I'm just trying to figure out how to put it into words, but something, willing to put aside differences, something, mark of a mature individual / experienced soldier.
Okay. So something about how Red's experience is shown through the fact that he can put aside differences for pragmatic reasons.
That's the word, thank you, pragmatic. That's the ribbon tying it all together.
Glad to help.
How centrist.
Is anyone else thinking of doing a speech? Sounds like we're going to be getting a lot of horse trading this legislative session then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a scene that can follow up on this if we want.
Well, before that, I have a couple of quick questions. Dr. Kane, you said you were sitting at the front, right?
Oh, yes. I did say that, didn't I?
Yes. And Red, you said you were sitting next to her.
I did.
Fishy, where are you sitting, relatively speaking?
Probably the back. Maybe one of these areas.
Okay.
Like over here.
Why don't y'all mark with the draw tool where you are? Or put your...
We could also copy our tokens.
That's the way to
yes.
do it.
Oh,
That
yeah,
is a
yeah,
much
yeah.
smarter way to do it. Thank you.
Very nervous battle map moment.
I'm very curious. Like, this place is almost empty, right? There's insufficient legislators to fill it up. It was designed to hold thousands of students.
Mm-hmm.
Why have each of you chosen your seats that you have? Dr. Kane?
Dr. Kane wanted a good view of what what people were going to be doing at the front of the stage when they were going to be speaking. I think she had an intuition that something was going to be coming up like this and wanted to be there to get as good a view as she could. I think she liked sitting in the front row generally, but had previously stayed back a little bit, not wanting to take space. And at this point, came in early, specifically to find that space, to get that good view, to take that for herself.
Okay, so the representative of the nerd squad is a keener. Got it. Red, did you sit next to Dr. Kane just to buzz her a bit, or?
No, part of it was the main thing was no one was going to get to the podium before Red. But Red's getting up in years. So he can't run as fast as he used to be able to.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much other space. Like, he could have sat over here or over there, or like, there's so many other front row spaces.
Yeah, but my friend was sitting here.
Fishy, why did you decide to sit sort of, or almost near the very back?
This isn't where I normally sit. I just am a little vain and look ugly right now, so I don't want people looking at me.
That's fair. All right. Speaking of vain, Gishlak, why'd you choose your seat?
I'm not vain. Anyway, I'm sitting back in like one of the back sections, but near the front, so I have room for several aides to kind of spread out, have papers and tablets and stuff spread out over several desks without interfering with anyone else. And I'm sitting further back than usual because I don't have a speech prepared for today, so I'm not planning on getting up and giving a speech. So I figured I would sit a little bit further back, give other people a little bit of space. Make my intentions clear that I'm not here to take up a lot of space today.
Yeah, okay. And Zendre, why did you choose the seat you chose?
There was not really any rhyme or reason behind it. Probably entered through that side, so, just pick the closest seat where he could get, where he could, listen in clear enough.
Yeah, so as Fabrizio Catana is about to continue the proceedings, you'll hear a burst of gunfire come from outside in the hallway, like submachine gun fire.
Sure.
Red, I think it is safe to say that you, at least, and I imagine possibly Fishy as well, would know that the security forces in the building carry pistols.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, so you're all light load. So now we're going to figure out the engagement roll.
By the way,
Sure.
Psych, Zendre keeps a pistol duct taped under his seat.
It sounds like a great flashback.
Dives for it, grabs it. I'm marking a pistol as one of my load.
Sure thing. That's going to be a 2-stress flashback.
Sick.
So y'all don't know who the target is just yet. I think that's fair to say. You also don't know what your objective may or may not be at this time.
Great.
I will reveal that as it goes. To be clear, this is happening because one of the NPC squads completed their goal.
Yes. Oh no.
Your rules of engagement, there is simply one. Don't look bad in front of the cameras. Because there are cameras in this legislative hall. There aren't any in the actual hallways of the building. But it wouldn't be surprising that if someone inside pulls out their smartphone or equivalent and films what's happening. So, does anyone have a suggestion for a quick gather information before you pick your tactic? Everyone gets to do one if you have an idea, but due to the circumstances, your options are extremely limited.
I have a thought.
Yep.
Would I be able to maybe try and see what's going on in the security cameras? Is that a thing I have access to?
It is not a thing you would normally have access to, but you could absolutely try if you... What would you want to roll for that?
I'd be gunning for an engineer. Maybe there's a panel that I can open up in the to start connecting some wires, twisting them together. I can declare gear as well if that would be useful.
Yeah. Why don't you declare a piece of gear if you have... What do you have in mind?
I'm thinking my fine digital connector, but if that doesn't work for you, that's okay.
Let me just... What does a fine digital connector do?
It says a high-quality device that allows you to expertly interface with digital machines.
Yeah, that seems fine to me. Okay, sure. Roll your engineer. And how many dice do you have in engineer?
Just one,
Okay.
but that's a 1 now, so 1.
Okay, well, it's gather information, which means there's no risk, and it's just the degree of information you get. You look through the security cameras, and what you are able to find is only a single dead security guard laying in a pool of blood. There's some footprints, leading away from the blood, but they, of course, the blood eventually wears off whatever footwear this person is wearing.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, so there's one dead security guard and at least one assailant who you cannot find.
We get this appearing on the holo display, and Dr. Kane calls out, one of our guards is dead. Just pure business mode.
Does anyone else have a gather information they'd like to do?
Yes. I am going to pull up, or I imagine I already have a little earpiece, but I'm just going to hit that and call my secretary, Smythe, who should be in my office, which I believe was in this building, like, a ways away, and just say, like, hey, lockdown situation? Are we in trouble? Are you in trouble? I basically want to know, like, is this spread throughout the building, or is this coming, like, right towards the legislative office? Or what's the word for the space we're in?
Hall?
Yeah, in the hall.
Okay, what do you want to roll for this?
I feel like that's command.
Yep, sounds good.
Alright, I've got 1 dice in command.
No.
That's a 1!
Okay, limited information. So yeah, you try to call through to Smythe, but you get, like, the automated message saying that all of the lines are busy. So what you're able to pick up from that is that whoever these people are, they have screwed up the communications in the legislative center.
Oh, right.
As soon as Dr. Kane reported this information about the guard, Red would have stood up and gestured for everyone to be perfectly quiet and to start coming towards the stage.
No.
Gesturing maybe to the...
Fishy is gesturing for everybody to get behind a chair and move to, like, the lip here.
Sure. So let's save maybe contested actions for past the engagement roll. I'm not trying to, like, dictate a course of action. What I'm setting up for is Red has, as we have established, not been using a fixed office and has been wandering the facility pretty much the moment the legislative session began, and so wants to sort of put together the information of where that sound is coming from, where this particular guard was posted, and where we are within the building in order to get a sense of where it might be safe for us to go. I was gesturing towards the stage because I was incorrectly surmising that there was probably a back door, but if we're in, like, a university hall, that is probably not the case.
Right? Like, there are doors on either side of the stage. There are also doors opposite of those, and then there are doors on the upper levels as well. Like, there are plenty of fire exits out of this big room.
Okay.
So what do you want to roll to try and triangulate with the information you have?
I was kind of angling for a prowl.
That doesn't really strike me as prowl.
Maybe survey in that case.
I could see survey, yeah.
All right, survey. That's 1d6. That's a 2.
Okay.
This is really great.
TPK.
Going very well.
Okay, so what do you get on limited information from a survey? So you know where one of the dead guards was.
Mm-hmm.
Where the dead guard is, rather. He's in the hallway, sort of like between exits. So you sort of get the impression that he was walking between places. I don't think you, like, know where this particular guard's usual station is. But it is safe to say that, like, he was in transit when he was killed, and he is on the first floor of the building.
Gotcha.
Fishy or Zendre, do either of you have a plan for gathering some information?
I was thinking about looking at the screen and studying details. Maybe a study roll.
Which screen?
The one that the doctor put up? Or was that not, like, broadcasted to everyone?
It's a pretty small display, the one that she has. It's like a few, like, I'm imagining, like, only like a few inches square.
Okay.
In terms of the holo display. At least that's how I've been describing it. You can see it in the profile picture that she has.
All right, so to further cement this in the fiction, I think Zendre takes Red's suggestion, moves, closer to those two, glances at the screen, is going to look at it, study its details, if that's okay.
Sure, yeah, no, I'm not going to shy away from you.
All right, so I'm thinking just a study roll.
Yeah, sure. And what are you trying to learn?
Looking at the kind of like the floor layout from the camera angle and the bloody footprints, just trying to, like, pin down where the assailant last was when this assault got captured on camera.
Okay.
Oh, 0 in study. I normally don't have 0 in study. We'll see how this goes.
Drag out 2.
The lawyer doesn't have any study. Not a dig, just an observation.
It is an observation. That's a 2.
Oof.
Okay, more limited information. What you're able to notice by, like, really staring intently at this guard's corpse is that particular set of footsteps don't look like they're headed towards the doorways that would lead into the main hall. Looks like they're headed towards the areas that contain the administrative facilities for the building and the offices for the representatives. But of course, you don't know where they're going in that regard. It's just that those footsteps aren't coming here.
All right, so he's gonna verbally note this out loud. Whoever these guests are, I don't think they're exactly just after us. They might want something else.
Fishy, do you have a gather information in mind?
I guess this is a little bit of a flashback, but like knowing the shortest path to our mechs, or at least Fishy's mech.
Yeah, sure. What do you want to roll for that?
Survey?
Yeah, that works.
5, okay.
Okay, standard information. All right. So there is a hangar on campus that is where the AVs are kept. I think that most of it is taken up by Dr. Kane's research facilities, but it is a full-blown hangar, and this is not a full-blown research facility. So there's still plenty of room for where other people may keep their AVs or their CVs, as the case may be, CVs being the Hummer to the AV's Humvee. The civilian version of military technology. So yeah, you have a good idea of what the fastest route there is. Yeah, so that's everybody's gathering of information done, so it's time to continue the engagement roll. So we've already got your loads. Everyone is light load. So what tactic do you want to do? Actually, I guess at this point I can reveal what your objective is, so you have some idea. It is stop whoever this is from achieving their goals.
Great.
Oh yeah, so specific.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sure.
Joke's on you. I was going to do that anyway.
So yeah, the tactics are assault, open violence against the target with a detail of the point of attack. Deception is luring, tricking, and manipulating the target. The detail is the method of deception. Scientific is engaging with technological power. The detail is the unusual procedures used. Social is when the squad negotiates with, bargains with, or persuades the target. The detail is the social connection. Stealth is for taking action undetected. The detail is the point of infiltration. And transport, or I guess exfiltration in this case. And transport is carrying cargo and people through danger. The detail is the route and the means. So what's everybody thinking for how to deal with this situation?
I'm voting for exfiltration,
Yeah, that was going to be my thought.
knowing who I am as a character.
Stealth feels right. I also do have 0 in prowl, for the record, but like my stats are not going to help here unless we're going for a social plan.
Do you still have a Alacritus elevator prototype in your office?
Oh, yeah. I have to spend a load to declare it right here, but I think I could probably have it in my office.
Dr. Kane,
Yeah?
do you have that other thing that TFU was working on?
I was planning on it. I was planning on framing that scene in my office, to be honest. So I would love for that to be here.
In the office as well?
I think that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to, wasn't sure if you, I know you said you weren't going to do any speeches, but I wasn't sure if you were going to have it with you.
I was definitely reframing some of my initial plans once Red sat right down next to me. I'll be honest.
Okay, thank you for your honesty. So, anyone else have any thoughts about the tactic? So far, we've got two or three people saying stealth.
Stealth? My other idea was deception to try and set up a trap for them.
I do like a good deception.
I feel like that's hard just because we don't know who that is right now. And I feel like our best bet is going to be exploring a little bit to get that better information, and then we can maybe try and set up a trap during the mission.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Also, being realistic at least to nil, it's like, oh, there's people with guns in here? Okay, we get out. Like,
Yeah.
then we'll worry about secondary objectives, but like, I'm not here to fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too bad. All right, yeah.
All things considered, we're civilians. So,
All right, okay.
Ostensibly.
All right, yeah, I think stealth has my vote.
We're going to vote on it like it's an actual vote.
So just a point of clarification, y'all are not technically civilians. Y'all are part of the DFS military as you are representatives of specific squads, right? Think of like in, the early Soviet armies, when individual groups of soldiers would have their own representatives chosen from amongst themselves, right? So it's sort of like that, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Obviously, some of you have more actual military training and background than the others, but from a purely technical standpoint, y'all are soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Not that these people will likely care about such bureaucratic fidelities. Okay, so we've got the pilot's load. The last thing is your vehicle loads. We don't need to discuss your vehicles until they become on screen, but just make sure to mark down whether your vehicle is a light, medium, or heavy load for later on. Alright, so the engagement roll. You start with 1 die for plain old luck. Is the mission bold?
I don't think so. I feel like we chose like the one non-bold option.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's true.
I agree.
Got a bunch of cowards on the team.
Is the mission especially complex?
No.
No, I
No.
also don't think so. It's just get out without being seen, and then figure it out from there. Does the mission exploit the target's vulnerabilities? Take +1 die. No,
suspect
it
not.
does not exploit
Yeah,
the
I was going to guess
vulnerabilities.
not.
Is the mission's tactic ineffective against the target? No, I don't think it does either. Are there other factors affecting the mission? Take +1 die for ones that benefit the squad, -1 die if it hinders them. Can anyone think of any other ways that you all might have a benefit in this situation? I know that you are operating under limited information about your
have a
opposition,
thought.
but yeah.
So I think it's been like hinted at broadly and vaguely over the past few games we played, but I think there was like talk about the legislature building being bugged. If any of those
True.
characters has access to those bugs, maybe that would give us some other insider information.
That's true. I have bugged the whole building.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you know what? That's fair.
Thanks for coming clean about that.
Uh-huh.
That's an extra die.
This will not count, but Gishlak Nil believes that they've seen several episodes of different Calazar shows which have involved people normally living civilian lives having to escape military forces, and they always seem to pull it out, so I feel like I know some good strategies.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay, ignoring that, Fishy, you
I've
were
got
about to
one.
say something?
Yeah, we've got the home field advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah, Red might know the building the best, but like we've all been working here for a while now.
Yeah, absolutely. That'll be another die. Okay, and then things that might lower that. Difference in tier. I know you all don't have, like, a tier because you don't have a squad as legislators. However, it is safe to say that this squad is higher tier than y'all.
I think a squad with guns is definitely a tier above us.
Yeah, I think we're tier 0.
Tier -1 somehow.
Soft
No,
tier
we have-
0.
We have 5 people. We're tier 0.
Don't forget your interns.
Oh yeah, no, we have like 8.
Oh,
So yeah, that'll be 2 dice. 1 for plain old luck, and 1 because y'all know this facility and or have it bugged.
Very good.
Who wants to roll these 2 dice? Who thinks that they would take the lead in this attempt to sneak out?
If we're going to my office, I wonder if it's me?
Is that the plan? It sounded like Fishy wanted to go to the AV hangar, and I don't know about the
Yeah.
others.
I'd
yeah.
follow Fishy.
I have a path to the AV hangar. I'm not saying it's the path of least resistance, but we'll be better off there than anywhere else, I
Yeah.
think.
This isn't about what's best for us. It's about what's best for the DFS. Let's listen to the doctor.
What? What are you saying?
Now, I
We don't
have my
have time for
differences
your
with
bullshit
Fishy,
right now.
I slapped
but I will
Fishy.
say, okay, well, now I'm confused because
Oh
we've
my
got the
God.
2 people with like real military experience here.
Yeah.
I pull out my gun and Louis gets
Oh, are you gonna
between
use
both
that?
of us,
You just had a gun in here?
looks at you for a second, and Louis gets between the both of you, or both of us. Now's not the time.
I'm not the one you should be pointing that thing at.
You
if you were
slapped
still
me.
if you were still a soldier, you'd remember that. Doctor, lead the way.
Okay, so I am going to say that is an
Take one
additional
-1 on that.
-1 die.
I think so.
Because
I think so.
no one is. It seems like at best y'all are going to be splitting into 2 groups. At worst, you're going to be splitting into 4.
Sounds that way.
Where's Fabrizio going?
Fabrizio is
Holding my
cowering
head in
behind the
hands.
podium.
I grab his collar and drag him along with us.
They them for Fabrizio.
Excuse me. I grab their collar and drag them along with us.
Okay. They will not be fighting. They are not a cohort.
Their last name is Katana.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that they know how to use one. Okay, so who wants to roll this one die engagement roll?
Doctor?
On it. This is very good. I've got some bad news for y'all tonight. I'm only rolling ones.
We're all gonna die.
This dice bot is brutal.
And my
Okay.
new
When I made this
character-
character sheet, I was like, if I ever pull this out, Gishlak is going to die, like, within an hour.
Okay, so y'all will be starting at a desperate position. So it sounded like everyone had sort of gathered together to talk about where you're going to head, or at least
Yeah,
Fishy
I think that's reasonable.
and Zendre had gone over to Dr. Kane.
Yeah, I think I had also gone over there, seeing, like, I had run over there, let's say. Yeah.
So everyone's over by Dr. Kane and Red when suddenly all 4 ground level doors burst open
Great.
and no one walks in. They just burst open like a massive gust of wind or possibly a pressure wave or something. And then a bunch of gunfire shoots in the hall, or sorry, like in the room you are in the massive room. And you watch as Fabrizio is hauled away from y'all up onto the stage by an invisible hand. A voice modulator says, "Nobody move, or the speaker gets it." So, who wants to do something?
Okay, hands up.
Yeah.
I'd like to declare a unusual weapon.
Okay, what are you declaring?
I'm declaring a... let me think of how to describe this. I'm wanting something that is like a stun grenade or something like that. Something that, like, if it was detonated, would incapacitate everyone within a small area.
Like a flashbang or a concussion grenade?
Yeah, like a concussion grenade or something like that.
Sure.
That I just have on my person at all times when I'm doing my office work.
Okay, I think that'll be one use.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And I planted it on the speaker when I had them in my grasp.
Jesus. Okay. I think that is a 1 stress flashback.
Okay.
What do you want to roll for this desperate action? I have an idea of what I think it is, but...
Tell me what you think it is.
It sounds like finesse.
I think you're absolutely right that it's finesse. Okay. Then yeah, I'm going to roll finesse with the intention of, like, they've got the speaker. I figured the speaker was the target and was going to be grabbed at some point anyway, but I'm going to try and incapacitate whoever these goons are. And the speaker along with it, but, that'll get us nothing.
If you murder the speaker...
I'm not going to murder the speaker.
I think this will be desperate standard.
Does anyone want to help?
I'd love to help. Not with this. Never
Can
mind.
I help?
Who's helping?
I mean,
Zendre.
I think 2 of us wanted to help.
No, you go for it, Snuggs.
All right, I'll help.
How do you help?
I think, he says, hands up, okay. And he starts to, kind of turn around slowly, look at the invisible, non-existing person there hoisting up the speaker. Kind of, looks up and down a body that he can't see.
Mhm.
Just as, clearly can't actually see this person, but is, making a show of, sizing the person up anyway.
Is there any kind of, predator, light refraction going on here, Austin?
Yeah, let's say there is.
Cool.
It's hard to see. You can only see it because you know exactly where to look. You know where this person is, the one holding Fabrizio, but if there are any others that came into the hall with this person, you don't know where they are.
Got it. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think I'm going to help by kind of putting on a show because I am the envoy and being well, gentlemen, you have us at a very clear disadvantage. This was supposed to be a diplomatic meeting. We don't
Very
normally bring guns here.
Excellent.
So you're just blathering on to get their attention.
Yep, basically kind of buttering them up.
Extremely
Okay.
good.
How many connections do you have with Red?
3.
3. All right, mark 3 stress. Red, so you get the die, you get the improved position, and you get the improved effect. So you're at risky great with extra die.
That's a team player. I should say I can do something like planting a bomb on the speaker because I have the infiltrator, an agile and deadly burglar. Because of course that's what red philodendron is. Hey, Austin, do you have a collateral die for me?
Yes, I do have a collateral die. So I will. So these people are here for a reason. I will mark 1 tick in their objective clock. Oh. It is a 6-step clock.
Oh, 6-step. That's fine. Okay, yeah, I'll take that.
Okay, it is now at 1 out of 6.
A person famously once told me that the only tick that matters is the last one.
It's true. So can we get this clock on screen?
I am drawing it right now.
Great. There it is.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, I got there.
Yeah.
And okay, so yeah, 1 out of 6.
1 out of 6. Perfect. Okay, so it sounds like that gives me, because I have a finesse of 1, 3 dice altogether.
Yep.
I don't think I can get any more from any other sources. Oh, I can also push myself.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I'll push myself.
All right, take the 2 stress. Do you have any push abilities that you'd like to incorporate?
Oh, good question. Good question. Boo.
Does Red have the devil's footsteps?
I very, very, very seriously considered taking devil's footsteps, and I didn't ultimately, which is too bad, because that would be really good. I do have Daredevil, which applies to desperate actions, but this is no longer a desperate action.
No.
You can always change that.
I always could. I could.
You're already at great effect.
I'm already at great, and I can't go any higher, so I think we're just at 4 dice.
Just.
Let's see.
Considering how the dice bot has been doing in Miro.
Yeah, I need them. Okay, here we go. 46.
Risky great.
Risky great. Detonating the speaker. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Should get bonus points for this straight.
Amazing.
Okay, well, at least you got that partial success.
Sure did.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, so yes, I am going to mark 3 ticks on this person. And actually, no, I'm going to mark 2 ticks on this person, and their optic camo shorts out from the concussion grenade.
Nice. Yeah, there's just like a clap, as if like an enormous door has slammed shut on stage.
Yeah. They and Fabrizio are both knocked off their feet.
Mm-hmm.
This person with the active camo knocked off of them, you can see that they've like got an active camo cloak that they've been wearing. That's sort of like a hooded poncho sort of deal going on.
Mm-hmm.
But the hood's been knocked back, and you can, as they're splayed out, you can see they're wearing military fatigues underneath, which, to be clear, is not like CalazCon style.
Sure.
They've got a shaved head, they've got pale skin, a wide mouth, thin lips, a nose that's been broken a couple of times, and salt and pepper beard. So yeah, you put 2 ticks on their clock. This is Major Iron Smoke. Or sorry, not Major, Captain Iron Smoke.
Do I recognize them?
I don't think so, because okay, at the least, you know this person is not part of Tempestia's crew.
Okay, that's fair.
Because I think that's probably where Red's like free information goes, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair to say. To be clear, that's information that I have. I have not been leaking information to Tempestia. Or have I? No, I haven't. But what if I have?
Captain Smoke now has 2 ticks out of 8 ticks on their challenge clock.
Teacher, do you have a consequence for me?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Right, so a risky consequence. Remember how I said don't look bad in front of the cameras?
I do remember that.
Yeah, so those cameras definitely caught Red slipping a concussion grenade into the speaker's coat.
Sure.
So yeah, just go ahead and let Pizza know that they lost 2 trust with the DFS.
I'll resist that.
Okay, how are you resisting that?
I have the ability Shadow. You can spend your spark to resist a consequence from detection or security measures.
Yeah, alright, spend that spark.
Nice.
Yeah.
What does this look like?
This looks like... I think there's a moment that the camera captures this invisible form grabbing the speaker from Red's hands, where Red, like, darts forward as if to like try and wrest them away. And probably Red like gets knocked back on his butt like as part of that. But he's reverse pickpocketing him. He's reverse pickpocketing the speaker and slipping it into a jacket pocket.
So the cameras just don't catch it at all.
Exactly. And in fact, it looks like I'm like going out of my way to try and rescue them.
Okay. Also, this is, I suppose, also a consequence, but the speaker is like down and out, basically.
Oh, that's that's not a consequence. That's the system working as intended.
Okay. All right. Who has an action they want to do?
I was thinking about capitalizing on this group action, like immediately as the captain is downed. I think Zendre is going to spring on him and like reverse the hostage situation.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
What do you want to roll for that then, to take them hostage?
Prowl?
That's going to be no effect to start.
Whew, how about finesse?
Actually, you know what? I was too harsh with saying no effect. That'll be limited effect for Prowl. Finesse will also be... I think most things are going to be limited effect in this case, to be honest.
I can give you help if you want.
And you're at a desperate position.
This is true. Well, if it's going to be limited, I might as well do Prowl.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of using this momentary confusion to like move in and like capitalize on the distraction. So that's going to be 2d6 to start with. Desperate limited.
I have, I think, 3 beliefs with you, so if I spend 3 stress, I can help that a little bit.
Okay, how are you helping me out?
I think this is, like, both of us acting at the same time, and I see what you're doing, and, like, just having an extra set of hands, like, working alongside you, I think that's enough. Or, I guess, Austin, do you think that's enough?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Acting in concert, that's an assist.
Do we do the thing where we nod at each other and move in sequence?
Yeah, totally.
Cool.
Like, it's not, like, planned at all, but it's, like, she's just following up on what you're doing.
It's like, here's our chance. Let's go. Okay,
Exactly.
So that's going to be...
Plus 1d, plus 1 effect, plus 1 position.
Yeah, 3d6, risky standard?
Yep.
I kind of took a chunk of stress already, so I don't think I'm going to push myself on this. What would a collateral die look like, though?
I will take that that objective clock again.
It's at 1 out of 6, 2 out of 6?
Yep. It'll be at 2 out of 6 with one more tick.
What do you think, guys?
There's only one tick that matters.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'll take that.
I do love how clock poisoned both Gavin and Brendan are from playing Band of Blades.
Here's the thing. I've played a lot of Beam Saber too, and sometimes you want a clock to finish so you can find out what it does.
This is the bad one. This is the one clock we're supposed to know
But it's
finish.
interesting.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
I disagree.
I'm rolling it.
Good luck.
Good luck. 6.
Yeah.
That's a 6.
Let's go.
All right.
So what this looks like is Zendre and Doctor kind of nod at each other and like they move in. Is Captain Ironsmoke still standing?
No, they got knocked down, which is how you could see those details about them.
Okay.
They're like already starting to get back on their feet though.
Okay, so as they're getting back on their feet, Zendre goes in with like a kind of like a wrist chop to the gut, pivots under the arm, grabs him beneath the arm, and like kind of holds him into a lock and puts the pistol against his
Them for Captain Smoke.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Beneath their chin, and calls out and says, "Well, looks like the turns have tabled."
Red laughs in character.
The one thing you know about this is that this was like very precise, very practiced maneuver on Zandre's part.
Mm-hmm.
This guy is more of a martial artist than he lets on. Nods to the doctor, kind of like doing their part to help secure this guy.
Yeah, and if we want to narrativize that at all, like we saw when I think last episode, Fishy and Dr. Kane shook hands. Like we saw Fishy walk away with like accidentally having cut his hand on like Dr. Kane's robotic arm. So she's using her robotic arm to just like lock Captain Ironsmoke in place.
Sick.
Okay. Captain Smoke says, They aren't gonna execute me on camera being broadcast to all of their followers.
Zendre clicks back the hammer on his gun.
Go ahead, do it. You've already killed my fucking city.
Makes eye contact with Zendre.
Oh, that changes a lot.
Yeah. I have a thing.
Okay, what does Gishlak do?
Oh, also, did that add ticks to Captain Smoke's clock?
No, that
That's
has
a
put you
custom.
in a risky position.
Oh, okay, that's put us in a risky position. Yeah, I'm gonna play the character honestly, and yeah. So, I see everyone else being, like, competent and heroic around me, and it's like, oh, yeah, there's cameras rolling. Yeah, we gotta do something here. While the tying up or the restraining is going on, I'm whispering to both of my aides, who are named Ariel and Bookman. Do you have a gun? No, any sort of weapon? Okay. They both, like, shake their heads. They're both, terrified. And Gishlak has been so far, like, terrified, cowed, but they're realizing, oh, wait, no, I gotta do a thing. I have the power of anime on my side. So I'm going to rise up to my full height. I feel like I was, like, maybe the second tallest of the legislators here, but I think they're, like, a solid, like, 6 feet. So, like, not the tallest person in the world, but they make themselves feel taller, especially with, like, their flowing robes. And they reach into a pocket and pull out what looks like just a pen. Just, like, a fancy pen. You might recognize it as, like, being, like, CalazCon merch.
Oh no.
It's got
God.
character emblazoned on it. I think it's too small to see who that character is. But I just stand out and hold that pen out like it's a weapon. And I look around, assuming that there are other, like, people with cloaking armor here, and say, you cowards. Coming in, if you're going to face down the heart of the DFS, you should at least show your face while you're doing it. I'm basically trying to goad them into disabling their cloaking system so we can at least know the situation. This is also probably going to get me shot. I'm fully aware.
What do you want to roll for this?
I feel like this is probably either sway or command.
I think it sounds like a command to me.
Yeah, I think it's command 2. So I've got 1 dice there. I am going to push myself. And
Okay,
because
this-
I'm playing the hero playbook... Oh, go ahead.
This
Go
is
ahead.
risky limited.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. I am going to push myself. And when I push myself, since I am the hero playbook, which is really funny, but, who knows? Maybe something's awakening in the heart of Gishlak now. I
You should
have
go back
speak
to sleep.
softly. So I push myself. I can also speak with the weight of all I represent or have civilians come to my aid. I think in this case I think it's probably to speak with the weight of all I represent. And I think
Okay.
that's kind of how I'm justifying this having any effect whatsoever. Because of all the people here, I'm the one person who has, like, a somewhat recognizable face outside of, the internal DFS structure. I've been a talking head on enough news programs that, like, people will recognize, like, oh yeah. So this is command, and I'm pushing myself. Let's see. Yeah, I'm definitely pushing myself for a second dice.
Okay.
Let's see. I'd ask about a collateral dice, but I am much more afraid of clocks than the other people here. Because here's a fun fact about me, PP, which is I have GM'd a ton of Forged in the Dark games and played as a player in 0 of them. So I'm used to being very excited to fill clocks, and now on the other side, I don't want to do that. Alright, so risky limited, 2 dice.
Yep.
Alright, let's roll them.
May I make a suggestion before you roll?
Yes.
If you want to give yourself over to anime,
Mm-hmm.
as I think that you truly do, and that I want for you, you might consider trading position for effect to make this desperate standard.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Absolutely. Yeah, this feels desperate standard.
It sure does. It sure does. Because
Uh-huh.
you're really putting yourself out there, and with standard result, you'll at least get something from it.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Alright, here we go.
2 dice, desperate standard command.
Mm-hmm. Show yourselves, cowards.
Nice.
Hey, I'll take it. That is a 4 and a 5, so a mixed success.
Okay. You do speak with the weight of all you represent, and they do want to make an impression while they are here. 3 figures in similar gear as Captain Smoke suddenly appear. None of them are actually all that close to the lot of you, since y'all are sort of like clustered around the front of the stage. One of them is by like the door next to the stage, to the left of the stage.
Yeah, there we go.
One of them is like in the seating, like on the right side of the stage near the front, like ready to take cover behind the low wall if needed. And then the other one is like directly opposite the stage in like the front row of the sort of ground level seating.
Okay.
So you have managed to reveal them. Now for your desperate consequence.
Yeah, please.
So you've made this big speech, and they've listened. And then there's just this sort of like, they've all got their guns pointed at you as a group.
Yeah.
And Captain Smoke says, "There, you got what you wanted. You can see who we are. And I'm proud to admit that we are members of the Chameleon Rangers, those remaining Jovangellian forces who still fight against the DFS and defend our homeland. You can't crush us." And I am going to tick the objective clock 3 times.
I would like to resist that.
How are you resisting this?
Does that reveal what the objective clock is?
No, it does not. If someone wants to make a roll to figure out what the objective is, then I'll reveal it.
I'll do that next.
I guess I don't have a great way to justify slowly.
Do you want to try and make your own kind of impassioned speech, counter their rhetoric with some rhetoric of your own?
Yeah. I'm immediately going to turn this from a firefight into a debate of I used to feel the same way.
Oh my god.
We're not so different, you and I.
Yeah. I held a lot of pride in Jovangel for years upon years. But the system, it crushes each and every one of us. I know you're in a lot of pain right now. I'm in a lot of pain right now. This whole city's in a lot of pain right now.
Okay, make a resolve roll.
Yep. All right, I got 4 in resolve.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I really thought I was going to get shot and have to resist with my 0 prowess.
When you're a fan of anime, you have to have a high resolve score.
That's a 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. No stress.
No stress.
So as
this is my day job.
Yeah, as you're pontificating,
Yeah.
Captain Smoke interrupts and says, "You're a traitor who's full of shit," and spits in your direction.
Yeah, at least I'm not sneaking into a place of business and trying to murder non-combatants.
While this is going on, can I look around and try and synthesize some of this information? Try and figure out what the objective here is? Maybe study the situation a little bit?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. This will be risky.
Yeah.
I think it'll be risky standard starting.
Okay, that's great. Also, Dr. Kane is the artificial, so my purpose is to discover, and I think this might be satisfying my purpose.
Yes, it does.
So that's 2 dice, risky standard.
Do you want some help?
I'd love some.
How are you going about studying them?
I was thinking that I wanted to try and frame this as Dr. Kane using all of the information that people have talked about and just sort of trying to run that against her knowledge of the current state of the people of Hestial. That's been her drive throughout this, trying to make sure that this invasion is not, well, she's been trying to win over the hearts and minds of the people of Hestial, and evidently that has not been working as we see.
I think what Red does here is Red notices something about the armaments that these other people are carrying, or perhaps the way that they're carrying themselves or something like that, and calls it to Dr. Kane's attention.
Yeah, sure. You notice her looking around and putting this together.
And just the softest brush against your soldier, a look of the eyes to indicate a particular thing.
Yeah. Then I'm going to... How many connection clock ticks do you have with me?
Well, like I said, we're friends. I have 3 ticks, so you get 3 benefits.
Wow. All right, so that goes up to controlled great 3 dice.
Wow!
Oh!
Wow, these Miro dice really had me in suspense.
Maybe we're not all gonna die.
Hey, what are these dice?
That was a 666.
Devil's crit. Okay, this dice bot finally turning up those 6s that you were missing from earlier. So this is going to be beyond great effect, the information you get, since you're already at great. You put it together pretty quickly. What is happening here? These Chameleon Rangers have broken in to the campus, and the ones inside the main hall here are buying time for their comrades elsewhere in the building who are How would you figure out this next bit? Well, I will tell you what they are doing, and maybe we can figure out together how you'd figure this out. They are breaking into the computer systems of the DFS through the representatives' terminals.
Oh, that's so good.
And the administrative facility, so that they can get data on the squads.
Yeah, so then I wonder if like there's part of Dr. Kane that is still connected to the internal network of this building. Like we saw her before, like twisting wires together and like using, what was the piece of gear called? It was the fine digital connector. So maybe there's a part of her that's still linked in and sees some of these data transfers, which then clues her in. Oh, there's something bigger going on here. They're using our terminals.
So we can't just play them the tape and they'll leave us alone? I shout from across the room.
No, I suspect not.
Hey, Austin, do we get any more information from that, given the quality of the role?
That finding out all of that with Beyond Great, yeah, you've already got it.
Okay.
These are the Chameleon Rangers. The guys in the room, or the people you're in the room with, are here to buy time for their people elsewhere in the building to obtain data on the DFS squads in Hestiel.
Dr. Kane is going to call out, Kieklak, Zendre, you deal with the Chameleon Rangers here. Fishy, Red, you're coming with me.
Thanks for listening to CalazCon. This episode was edited by me, Austin Ramsey. You can find my work at austin-ramsey.itch.io. Sound balancing for this episode was done by Christine Blight. You can reach her for voice acting at CVBlight@gmail.com. The show's music is by Devin Nelson. You can find them on all social media at Devin Decibel. If you'd like to support CalazCon, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/CalazCon. Please tell your friends about the show too. Remember, all glory to Calazar.